This time Yerushalmi Shekalim in the article Ozer edition when Daf Yutes Amar Aleph, the second line for the top. Here's Rabbi Mishem Rav Chuna, and this is somewhere on Yud Beis Amar Aleph in the Vilna Yerushalmi towards the top of Yud Beis Amar Aleph, and in the Vilna Bavli Yerushalmi it is on Daf Ches Amar Aleph, and it is 6 lines down. So yesterday we had spoken about the Shita of Rabbi Meir, and Meir had said that the Rosh Hashanah for Ma'aseh Behema was Echad Be'elul, and we said the kind of demarcation point between those which conceived before Rosh Chodesh Nisan, because the gestation period is 5 months, and those which are conceived after Rosh Chodesh Nisan. Now we go to the next Shita, which is time Rabbi Lezer Rabbi Shimon appeared in our Mishnah. They said the three grown-ups are Echa b'Nisan, Echa b'Sivan, and Tisha B'Elul. I said that wrong. Skip the S. So which means Erev Rosh Hashanah, and because he said we're going to do a Rosh Hashanah because of Yontif, right? So why, if you do it, there's these including the ones born in Elul in the Goren. That means ones which are conceived before Rosh Chodesh Nisan, ones conceived after Rosh Chodesh Nisan. What's the source for that? The Rosh Chodesh Nisan should a demarcation point. What's their source for that, I should say. So Rabbi Shimon said, "Time Rabbi Lezer Rabbi Shimon." They based on a pasuk in Tehillim Samecheyu Dalet. Says, "Love Shukarim Son." The sheep became covered as if they were pillows. Right, the car is a pillow. V'ambakim yatfu bar, and then the valleys will be full of produce. Yisro'u, they'll be friends. They'll make friends. They'll join, gather together. Af yashiru, they'll also sing. So we're dashing this pasuk. Love shu karim mitzon ela bechiros. These are the ones which were bechiros, which became pregnant, conceived before Rosh Chodesh Nisan. V'amakim yatfu bar. Those who become pregnant when stuff is already grown, because before Rosh Chodesh Nisan nothing's really growing yet. Right? After Rosh Chodesh Nisan, stuff grows. So therefore, those are the stuff that's Amokim Yatfu Bar, when there's already produce in the valleys. So Yisro, they become friends. V'yashiru Vidar means they should be meisered, not just saying, but Yashiru as if it said Yasiru. They should be meisered. So from here we see that you can meiser those which were conceived before Rosh Chodesh Nisan, when the love shukarim, the ones which became bulky like pillows early, and the ones which became pregnant later, the ones which were with time Amaki Atu Bar, they can come together, and therefore even though it's after the ones after Rosh Chodesh Elul can be mitzvah together ones from before Rosh Chodesh Elul, and lump them all together on Erev Rosh Hashanah. Okay. Go to the deer together. Now the Ben Azai said comes along. Our Ben Azai and in our Mishnah, Ben Azai actually I think came before Rabbi Lezer and Rabbi Shimon, but this is in the Bryce comes after Rabbi Meir. The Rabbi Lezer and Rabbi Shimon don't appear there. But anyway, so Ben Azai comes. He says, taking into account the Shita Rabbi Meir and the Shita Rabbi Lezer Rabbi Shimon. And as Shimon he says, since Rabbi Meir says Elul is the demarcation point, Rosh Chodesh Elul, and Rabbi Lezer Rabbi Shimon say that the Rosh Hashanah is the demarcation point. So you only misasim ne'atzman. The Elul ones have to be ma'aseh by themselves. They don't go into a deer with the other ones. As it says, Now I'm going to go to the Girsa Carbonate. And I'm not sure the Pnei Moshe changed the Girsa either, but it's easier if you change Girsa. You don't have to change it. You can work it out without changing it, but it's easier to change Girsa. So let's go with the Carbonate as Girsa. Haketzad. Household. No lo Chamisha Ba'av. Chamisha Ba'elu. 5 were born in Av, 5 were born in Elu. Chamisha B'Tishrei, 5 born in Elu, Chamisha 5 born in Tishrei. And Mitzdarfin, according to Benaz, they don't join together. Because he's taking into account both possibilities here. That the mayor's possibility, and that Rosh Hashanah's demarcation point, and Elazar Shimon's demarcation point, Rosh Hashanah, i.e. Chavtes Elu. But no dulo chamisha b'tishrei v'chamisha b'av. If 5 were born in Tishrei, 5 were born in the following of. This is in the Girsa of the Gemara. But the following of mitzdarfin, they join together. But shel chamisha b'av shel achar Tishrei mitzdarfin. Ba'avgad mavsei gronos l'shetidu hachamim, even though they're gronos which hachamim instituted in the middle, nevertheless it's considered to be the same year for Ma'aser Behema. So therefore, if we didn't do one of the gronos in the middle, when there's a grono in the middle, nevertheless, you can join together the 5 of Tishrei with the 5 of the following of. Because you don't have any demarcation line in the middle, which would either be Rosh Chodesh Elul or Rosh Chodesh or Rosh Hashanah. But these are born in 5 in Tishrei and 5 in the following of. Okay, so no Elus. No Elul in between. Okay, now the Gemara says, well, okay, fine, so far so good. But Ben Azai, he's coming and making a compromise between his Talmidim. In other words, Meir and Rabbi Elazar and Shimon were later generations. They were later Talmidim Rabbi Akiva. Ben Azai was an early Talmud Rabbi Akiva. So they came after him, at least the time of their prominence came after Ben Azai. So Ben Azai taking into account Shittas which came after him. So Rabbi Yirmiyah and Rabbi Moshe B'Shem Rabbi Shmuel Bar Yitzchak said Shkeinechlu Aleh Avos Olam. No, it's really an earlier machlekes. And later on, I guess Rabbi Elazar and Shimon versus Rabbi Meir, they carried on the machlekes of their elders. Manin Avos Olam. Who are the elders of the Avos Olam, the forefathers of the world who carried on this machlekes? Tana Rabbi Yirmiyah, Rabbi Shmuel, Rabbi Akiva. The really Rabbi Shmuel, Rabbi Akiva. And said this, and said these different shittas of Echad Rosh Chodesh Elul and Chavtes Elul, Rosh Hashanah, and Ben Azai is machri on them. So says Gemara, Zosim, this teaches us that evidently Ben Azai Chaver v'Talmid Akiva. Ben Azai was not just a Talmid; he also became a Chaver. In other words, he became what we call the Talmud Chaver. He achieved a parity with Rabbi Akiva at some point. In Tamer Rabbi, because they say always remained his Rebbe. Ismanashmel Rabbi. Somebody say to his Rebbe, well, since you say like this, or Yishmael say like this, I'm going to come make up shor between the two of you. It doesn't work that way. The person's not machriya when it comes to his Rebbe. He defers to his Rebbe. So the fact that he's machriya, which is something else, means they became a Talmud Chav Rebbe Akiva, and therefore he's allowed to do this. Was another source from which we know that Ben Azai was a Talmud Chav Rabbi Akiva, and this is proof from a machlekes in Basra, which we're not going to get into. None of the parts should read out what the machlekes is, because it's a complicated machlekes about Dini Yerushas. So therefore, why get into it here? So Ben Azai said, "Chaluki manam mitztarin." You, Rabbi Akiva, said to Rabbi Akiva. He said to Akiva, and those who had early arguments, we had a problem. It was a problem for us. It was a pain that we had to deal with them. And now we had it later. Everybody seemed to agree. Now you just said, no. Those which are that other people held, there was agreement, a consensus concerning that, and you're going to make a machlekes out of this. So there's also some merits in the fact that Rabbi Ben Azai expresses it this way. This tells us that Ben Azai chaver v'talmid Rabbi Akiva. There's a Talmud, the Bible calls the Talmud chaver to Rabbi Akiva, because in Tamer Rabbi, he's going to say he remained his Rebbe his entire life. When he comes to the Rebbe, he says, give me a break. You're going to create a machlekes between the two of us. So clearly Ben Azai at some point became a Talmud chaver of him. Takli Charatin says, Shabbos v'lois Koloshon Rebbe. They didn't mention it as a Rebbe. It just said Basar. This is not Bar Rabbi. But I'm not sure that they have to come on to that. I think it's just from the familiarity of the expression, probably. So the previous quote said that the ones born between Tishrei and Av, everybody agrees in Meir that there will be one Goren. Now we're going back to Eliezer Rabbi Shimon and saying, Tamati, we looked over there, the whole year. They Harelu Mitzarfin. It's because there's not like Rabbi Meir. It's because Eliezer Rabbi Shimon hold that Rosh Hashanah is not Rosh Chodesh El, but Rosh Chodesh Tishrei, Chof Tes Melu. So therefore the entire year is Harelu Mitzarfin. Chamisha, they Rosh Hashanah, Chamisha, Lach Rosh Hashanah, Ein Mitzarfin. 5 before Rosh Hashanah, 5 after Rosh Hashanah, they don't join together because that's the demarcation line according to them. But Chamish Leif Negon, Chamish Achar Goren, the other gronos which he mentioned, Prosat Pesach, Prosat Seres, those are not demarcation lines. And it's just that he said that's a good time to do my Sabena, so Behem Mitzur Regolim. But the 5 before the Goren, 5 after the Goren, they are Mitzdarif if they're around at some later point to be Mitzdarif together. Chamish Negon, Chamish Achar Arei Mitzdarfin. On Rabbi Yosef, he says, Zosamers, this teaches us. Ma'aseh lo so lo chenet v'lo keshlish. The ma'aseh behema is not like chenet. It's like the budding of a tree. And let's see the kormeida. Lo kilonas lazim lehu b'sar l'inyan ma'aseh b'sar chanata. It's not like the trees that go after the budding. Kol shchonta b'yasol kodem tu b'shvat misas shana shavar, where but if it's buds before Tisha B'Av, it's part of the Tu B'Shvat, it's part of the previous year. If it's Shvat, it's part of the subsequent year. The Lokish Shlish, and not like continue the Kormeira, like produce, like grain and olives. There's Linan B'U B'Sar Shlish. B'Hainu B'Shaz Gemara, there should be a Shlish, U'in L'Achil Deitchak, which is to be a Gemara, that's considered to be, you can eat them at least B'Doichak when they reach Havah Shlish. How do we know that we're not following these things, right? If you're going to say it's like budding, so then we should say that we go after budding. That would be the equivalent of saying they go after conception. Anything which is conceived from the 29th day of Elul and beyond should be Mina Chadoshes. Doesn't say anything about conception. Right? So we're not going after conception. That which we say in the chenet, like budding. If we're going to say you follow a third, which is the time when the sulfur, just like third of the tzubal, the third here, the parallel concept here would be it's suitable for hakrava. It's only suitable for hakrava 7 days after it's born, right? Because the first week is still considered premature. So then let's see the Korban. At least they call Nolim Archa Bezbo. Let's see the Korban. Nolim Shiva Yom Kodem Rosh Hashanah. These are born 7 days before Rosh Hashanah. Those which are born after that, after Chabez Elul, they're not supposed to sacrifice in this year. From the 8th day and on, you don't sell Korban LaHashem. So we're not going after that either. So what are we going after? So no, really following the third. So why is Chav Beis not the cut-off point? Because Rabbi Shimon, this going like Rabbi Lezer and Rabbi Shimon. He was the other Tana here, right? And there's Rabbi Shimon Shitasa. Shemar Mechusas Man Nichas Adili Saser. Even though it's Mechusas Man, it can't yet be brought. It's still as a korban. It still comes. It can still go into the pen in order to have the mice taken off from it. So it has to be. It's like shlish. It's not like a shlish, meaning here a time which is actually suitable, not necessarily for hakrava, but a time when it's actually not. It's through. I guess the way it puts it like this: really, the 7 days is like Arya de Reviola, right? It's really to be suitable hakrava for day one, but we're super if it's the Yotze Mikal Nefel. After the 7th day, it's really good. I'm afraid it could have been suitable from day one. So therefore, day one is really like Avah Shlish. So comes along Rabbi Karmani Rabbi Shem. Rabbi Shem says, "Whoa, You wanted to say this idea it's going like Rabbi Shimon. Yeah, but that's not going to work so well. He says, "The Torah Marta the Milsa." Did you say that? Amle in says Amle Vatnin. What about Ben Azai? Yeah, Ben Azai Luli Misasim Nehatzman. They Luli Mar Misasim by themselves. V'loafilu Nolad Adasimatisha Belu. Even if it's born up to and including the 29th day of Elu. Ischem Ben Azai Rabbi Shimon. There's Ben Azai Rabbi Shimon that Mechusas Man Nichas Adilis. So it must be that we see that it's not that it's not like you want to say it's like really it's like a shlish, and these are included shlish because we hold mechuser dir because of mechuser zman zichus dilis aser. No, it's not like shlish because he's saying clearly that even though it's the mechuser's even though the mechuser zman is not nichlas ladir. Shouldn't be nichlas the deer. These go into the deer, so it must be. It's not. We don't have this parallel of roy la krava being roy parallel to roy la chila by meiser. It must be some other cheshbon. What the other cheshbon is, we'll see tomorrow. But there must be a different cheshbon which has nothing to do with roy for anything. So then this goes back to Taka Rabbi Yosef says. So he says, pointing Rabbi Yosef said, it's not chenet, not kashlish. Right, because that's what it says. I said shlish, because you want to say it is like shlish, because there's a parallel between roy la krava and roy to la chila. Roy la krava meiser and roy la chila by regular meiser, and therefore it's really shlish. Hi mechutzer zman nichas l'dilas aser. It's not good. That's work according Shimon, but it's not going according Ben Azai. So must see there's a different cheshbon here. It's nothing to do with roy and nothing to do with parallel to shlish, but an independent cheshbon which allows you to do the ma'aseh on all the animals, even those that are not roy for anything yet. On Chav Tes Elul. Okay, again, what they're suitable for? What's the cheshbon? I'll tell you about tomorrow.